Solamente quiero estar sola, Adnan. Adnan. ¡Ay, Adnan! ¡Adnan! ¡No!
The film opens with Bihter narrating her own life directly to us, her voice quiet and precise. Every wedding, she says, contains a breakup inside it. Some people break from home, some from freedom. We understand immediately that this is both a beginning and an ending, and that Bihter has already done a great deal of thinking about what she is about to walk into. The day the story starts is the day Bihter's sister Peker gives birth to her first child. The family lives in a damp seaside mansion that has seen better times. Their grandfather was wealthy and respected, but since his death and their father's, the money has quietly run out. Their mother, Mrs. Firdevs, is a woman who has spent her life performing elegance she can no longer quite afford, and today, as a new grandmother, she refuses to acknowledge the title. She is beautiful and vain and calculating, and Bihter watches her with the cool eye of someone who has spent years studying a cautionary tale from up close. Into this domestic scene arrives Adnan Ziagul, a wealthy, distinguished widower with 2 children and a large Bosphorus mansion, ostensibly to congratulate the family on the new birth. He does not stay long. But after he leaves, Bihter's brother-in-law announces what his visit actually meant. Adnan wants to marry Bihter. The family reacts according to its interests. Peker objects. He is too old, he already has children, this is absurd. Firdevs privately seethes because Adnan was the man she had her own designs on. But the brother-in-law understands immediately what the marriage would mean financially, and he makes his support known with tactless enthusiasm. Bihter, sitting in the middle of all their noise, makes her own calculation. She calls Adnan her exit ticket. She says yes. She arrives at the mansion as its new mistress with real intention. She has rearranged the furniture, updated the decor, tried to make the space her own before she is fully settled in it. Adnan's younger son Bülent takes to her warmly and immediately calls her mummy. His elder daughter Nihal is polite but careful, her feelings visible only in what she does not say. She loved her mother's furniture. She notes that she was not consulted. Bihter tries. She invites Nihal shopping, sits beside her, works patiently to turn distance into friendship, and gradually something genuine does open between them. Nihal stops holding herself quite so separately. She lets herself be guided into long skirts and a new sense of herself as a young woman stepping toward adulthood. Then Behlul arrives. He has been part of this household since his school years. Adnan's nephew, charming, restless, with a known reputation for chasing women and then losing interest. He sweeps into the dinner table on the evening of Bihter's arrival and toasts her with a warmth that is almost inappropriate, a grin that carries its meaning just below the surface. Bihter is composed, gracious, entirely correct in her manner. She is also, from that first night, acutely aware of him. The marriage is what it is. Adnan is generous and tender and older, genuinely fond of Bihter, moved by her beauty and grateful for the warmth she has brought into his house. But the intimacy between them is compromised in a way neither of them can fully name or fix. He tries. He fails. Bihter lies awake afterward, staring at the ceiling, performing contentment for the household and feeling none of it. She tells us herself, she did not marry Adnan as a husband. She married him as a means of escape. Now she is trapped inside the escape. Their first anniversary arrives. Adnan organizes a picnic on the water, inviting Bihter's mother and sister without consulting her. He wants to give her family, to be generous. Bihter is quietly furious. She had wanted one evening alone with him, a gesture toward the marriage being real rather than performed. Instead, she eats chicken rolls on the riverbank with a crowd, while Firdevs makes pointed remarks from her corner of the blanket. Adnan gives her a family heirloom necklace. She receives it perfectly, smiles perfectly, and later that night breaks it. Behlul, meanwhile, has begun to look at her differently. In quiet moments, when the others are occupied or out of sight, he pushes the boundary slightly. A word, a look, a hand placed near hers that does not quite touch. Pushes back. She is clear. She did not marry her husband to cheat on him. She does not want this. She says it and means it. She also, in those same moments, feels her skin burn whenever he comes close, and she knows that he can feel it too. Firdevs then arrives at the mansion. Adnan has invited her, citing her rheumatism, her damp house, her need for a change of air. Bihter discovers this from the maid, not from her husband, and the rage she feels is real and justified. She knows her mother with a completeness that is almost clinical. Firdevs settles into the house and immediately begins moving through it like an intelligence operation, cultivating the servants, mapping the household's dynamics, watching everything and filing it away. She approaches Bihter in her room and begins, very carefully, to warn her. Behlul's reputation, she says. A young man living under the same roof as his uncle's wife. People will talk. Her warnings are simultaneously genuine concern and something more dangerous. The words of a woman who sees clearly what is happening and is deciding how to use it. That same night, Adnan asleep, Bihter rises. She walks down the corridor to Behlul's room. She knocks. She asks for sweets. He had mentioned he bought some in the city. It is a pretext so thin it is barely there. The lights go out. The dark makes the pretense unnecessary. What happens between them is the release of something that has been building for months, and it changes the structure of everything in the house, though nothing in the house changes visibly. The affair is conducted in the corridors and stolen minutes of a mansion where everyone is always almost present. Bihter pretends illness the next morning. Firdevs comes to her bedside and talks about Behlul's reputation, still warning, still watching. Behlul and Bihter manage their proximity with the simultaneous pleasure and terror of people who know they are running out of time. He brings sweets. She comes to his room after Adnan leaves for work. She tells him they could leave together if they were caught. He does not say much, but he does not deny it either. The household continues. Bülent is sent away for school. Mademoiselle de Courton, the children's beloved French governess, returns to France for a visit. Nihal, increasingly alone, begins to be treated as an adult by everyone around her. Given long skirts, included in conversations, noticed. Behlul notices her. He goes to the island where she is staying with relatives, ostensibly on a whim. He takes her for a coach ride. He tells her she deserves to be loved. He proposes. Nihal, innocent and uncertain, does not immediately say yes, but she does not say no. Bihter finds out. She is in the middle of a conversation about something else entirely when Adnan casually mentions that his mother had suggested the match between Nihal and Behlul. And what does Bihter think? She laughs, a single sharp sound that she cannot entirely control, and says she thinks it is comical. She goes directly to her mother. She goes directly to Behlul. She demands he refuse it. He says it is too late. He tells her he loves her but that this marriage will protect them both. No one will suspect anything once he is Adnan's son-in-law. Bihter hears this and understands it for what it is. He is choosing safety over her and calling it love. The announcement at the breakfast table. Nihal has said yes. Adnan is moved and approving. Firdevs performs surprise while privately congratulating herself. Bihter sits at the table and the laugh that escapes her is wrong. Too sharp, too sudden, the sound of a person watching something die in real time. The weeks that follow are a controlled collapse. Bihter drinks in the daytime. She corners Behlul and begs, then screams, then reasons, then threatens. He holds his position. He loves her but he is marrying Nihal. The wedding dress arrives. Wedding preparations begin. Bülent, who has quietly observed more than anyone knew, tells Bashir the old coachman what he understands to be true, and Bashir tells Adnan, everything that has been hidden comes into the light at the worst possible moment. In the chaos that follows, Bihter locks herself in her room with the hunting gun she had taken from the house months ago. Firdevs goes to Behlul and tells him to go to Bihter, to calm her, to manage her, to do something. He does. Inside the room, Bihter is past managing. She tells him she will tell Adnan everything, right now, in front of everyone. Behlul, finally desperate, tells her they will leave together, just as she always wanted, just as he always promised. She looks at him. She says, "You only found courage once you were caught." Through the window, she watches Behlul run to the dock and get into a boat. He is rowing away. He is leaving without her. Something in this image clarifies everything. Bihter turns from the window. Adnan is at the door. She does not hide from him. She does not plead or explain or perform anything at all. She faces him and says, "I cannot live in this life anymore." Then she walks out of the room, down the stairs, through the gathered guests in the house, past every face that has watched her and talked about her and tried to define her. She does not run. She does not look back. The gun fires once in the room she has just left. The film holds on the sound of it and on Bihter walking away. She speaks one final time, directly to us. Neither Firdevs's daughter nor Adnan's wife, she says. She is Bihter. She is not mad. She is not a dream. She is real. And she is not dying in the dark.